Okay, it shows that we are live. I am streaming on YouTube and Rumble simultaneously. It is Friday night, October 4th, and I want to have a fun live stream tonight. I'm going to be reading lots of comments from the live chat, super chats, and I'm also going to go through recent videos I've made and read various comments from there. I haven't picked any out. In the title I wrote hilarious comments because I'm sure there will absolutely be some because we're talking about the internet here. But I'll also be reading thought-provoking comments as well related to the topics. For example, last week, if you saw my video related to the fact that it's been 8 years since the discovery of the massive void within the Great Pyramid of Giza, and they still have not gone looking in it, so they say, and they still have no plan to do so, which makes no sense. And this is something I've been harping on big time over the last number of months. Whether it's the lack of excavations at Göbekli Tepe and they're not going to excavate for the next few generations and saving it for them, which is stupid and makes no sense. Gunung Padang with the subterranean chamber, which may be natural, may be a man-made construct, we don't know, and they're not looking there. These are all topics you've heard me talk about in depth, so I'm not looking to really go into those topics, because it's almost a beated horse at this point. But what would be good is to read some very interesting comments related to these topics. So I hope you all are doing well. Someone said, Jimmy in low res. I should not be in low res. This sucker's plugged into my 5G freaking internet, or my 2G, or whatever the hell you call it. 2 gigabit internet, plugged straight in there. So it should be pretty good. Last week, I forgot to plug it in, and it was on Wi-Fi, and it's not as good of quality. But anyways, so guys, start flooding me with comments, questions, and we're going to get into it. I will have a few different sponsors to read today, which I'm very grateful for, some good companies. So I'll read those off here in a few minutes. A Helping Hound says, hey, I actually got a notification, if not a late one. Hey, I just started 2 minutes ago, so that's good news. I don't want to be a, crybaby here, but the amount of people that have me subscribed and the notification bell hit and never get notifications is through the roof. I get so many comments on that. But whatever, it's, what am I supposed to do? Someone said, go on Joe Rogan again. Yeah, I believe that is going to happen. I do have a few podcasts coming up. I'll be on with Danica Patrick again this upcoming Monday, although it won't air on Monday. It'll probably be weeks afterwards. I'm also going to be flying out to the Danny Jones podcast. That'll be happening. And also Matt Beal from Limitless. Awesome guy. He's the CEO of Beal's department stores. Really interesting guy. He has the largest collection of those precision vases out of Egypt. Super interesting guy, and he's growing a podcast. So fun stuff coming up here real soon. Someone else said bad quality, Jimmy. I have no idea why that is. I am plugged in, so it should be outstanding quality, guys. Maybe the latency will catch up here in the next few minutes. Let me look at the live chat saying, before I get into the meat and potatoes. Yeah, someone else saying low res. That's on YouTube and on Rumble, people are saying it. Damn. Yeah, I'm seeing it on my end. Why is that so bad? What it shows on my end is crystal clear 4K quality. Yeah, everyone's saying how bad the quality is. Why is it doing that? On my end, it's crystal clear, guys. And to those of you who are just joining in, I have this plugged into my 2 gigabit internet. On my end, it is high quality. Maybe they're suppressing me. No, my resolution, guys, is, set on the high end, the good stuff. Yeah. Yep. Highest quality. I don't want to restart the stream because if I do it, I have to recreate the whole thing. So let's just hope it improves here. Yeah, throttling. Yeah, someone's screwing with me. Guys, on my end, it shows it crystal clear. So I don't want to be a complainer. Let's just hope that it improves here in the coming minutes. If not, I might cut it to just an hour today. But I hope you guys will bear with me. What matters most is the content. I hope the sound quality is at least decent. Yeah, I can't even imagine what the deal is here. Anyway, yep, someone said clear now. All right, it should be coming in. Good news. All right, here. What super chats do we got? What questions? Yeah, someone said don't be sad. Hold on, here we go. How do I show this one? Hold on, let me go to my screen here. Someone made a comment about the WEF throttling me. Obviously, that's what's taking place. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, well. I don't want to be the guy looking for comments the whole time. But anyways, guys, yeah, things are at a really interesting state here in the field of archaeology. The reactions I'm getting from a lot of people involving the lack of excavations into the Great Pyramid void is astonishing. I thought for sure that a lot of people would resonate with that. I mean, I'm sure my loyal following understands, but the critics, like, I can understand people pushing back on a WF conspiracy involving Göbekli Tepe, because that's not even a sure thing. It is a conspiracy theory that the people in the, they're running the show over there are members of the WEF. And I think there's a correlation there, especially when you look at what's happening in Indonesia, as the Minister of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, who is the decision maker, what happens to Göbekli Tepe, is a global shaper within the WEF. But WF conspiracies aside, there's a lack of excavations happening. And whatever the reason is, it is a problem. So going back to my point about the chamber, discovered in the Great Pyramid, initially discovered in 2016, which is 8 years ago. The study on it, however, was published in late 2017, 7 years ago. But regardless, the discovery itself was established 8 years ago, and they still have no plan to go in there. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't believe it. I don't believe that they haven't gone looking. They could drill a 1/2 inch diameter hole, stick a freaking tube through there with a camera, because like they do in surgeries. If you guys follow me on x.com, formerly known as Twitter, I found this awesome video of someone doing something similar. And you just stick this tube in and the camera goes in there. Someone says it's getting worse, not better. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, it looks bad on YouTube. Let me check it out on Rumble to see. What the hell? That is the worst quality I've ever seen. This is so unbelievably bad. I don't understand. Guys, everything's fine on my end. Let's see here. Someone said, oh my God, I'm just gonna hope it improves. I don't even know what to say, I'm so pissed. Hold on a second here, let's put this on screen. Hold on. Your thoughts on the pharmaceutical industry? Oh my God, it's a cartel. See, this is the thing, guys, I keep it real. The pharmaceutical industry is a cartel. These people, just because they wear fancy, expensive suits and have educations, doesn't mean that they're not gangsters. And all the information is there for those who go looking for it, whether it's the untested shots and everything like that, and withholding information from the public. You just have to look at the whole situation over the last few years involving those pharmaceuticals that came out, and they're trying to postpone the testing results on it for decades. That should tell you everything you need to know. But we'll stay away from that topic for now. Let's see. Yeah, why is it so blurry? I'm not stopping this and restarting it. I'll have to create a whole new thing, and that is a problem. So I'm just going to hope it gets better, and I hope you guys will bear with me for the time being. All right, so we have a question here. Have you ever looked into ancient mosques used to point to a completely different city the 1st century after Muhammad? Mecca was moved from Petra. So that's something new to me. That's not something I've dove into. But let me make a note of that. That's something interesting. Because, I mean, aren't the mosques supposed to be facing the east? Forgive me if I'm wrong. Or is it the west? I believe it's the east. I know that's the direction they pray. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's my understanding. So if that changed, that reminds me of pole shift stuff. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Let's see here. Let's go into some questions. Let's see here. And as people filter in, I'm going to, God, this quality. Guys, I'm not going to complain the whole time, but it's on both ends. And I'm telling you, it's nothing on my end. This is something else. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying I'm being targeted, but, because I've had far more controversial live streams before. I don't know. Whatever. We're going to just keep this going. Let me do a quick ad read for a special company and hope that the latency improves. But 1 second here. Oops. Okay, the world feels like it's on the edge right now. Tensions over the upcoming election, economic instability, supply chain shortages, and health threats popping up left and right. With talk of a new pandemic on the horizon, if you're waiting for the medical industrial complex to protect you and your family for when things go sideways, you're making a huge mistake. You have to take action and be prepared. That's why I want to tell you about the wellness company's Contagion Emergency Kit. It's a lifesaver. put together by real experts like Dr. Peter McCullough. Inside, you've got medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, budesonide, forgive me for mispronouncing that, and even a nebulizer. These are critical medications to treat respiratory illnesses and so much more, especially heading into flu season. Can you imagine when you or a loved one needs life-saving medications, are you really going to risk being told no? Don't let anyone play gatekeeper with your health. Just a few clicks and the kit is delivered to you right to your front door. This is peace of mind for you and your family in uncertain times. I have my kit, and now you can get yours by heading to twc.health/brightinsight and use promo code brightinsight to get $30 off plus free shipping. That's twc.health/brightinsight, promo code brightinsight for $30 off and free shipping. Don't wait for the next crisis to hit. Be ready, not reactive. Get your kit today and take control of your health. The link is in the description down below. Thank you guys for giving me a second to read that. How is the quality looking now? Let's see here. All right, look at this. Your audio and the screen share is 100% clear. That's what I got on my end. I'm so happy to see that. Let's just hope that the kinks are working itself out here. I don't actually think I'm being targeted, but who knows? Let's see here. Let me do a little refresh on this. All right. I got a comment on Rumble from JP Porter 818. It says, what are your thoughts about the 380 ACP as a self-defense caliber? I've been pocket carrying it lately using Underwood ammo and LCP Max. I feel it's good enough for self-defense in most cases. Brother, I have the exact same pistol and I use the exact same ammo. Underwood is the best. I've never had a malfunction using Underwood ammo or a misfire or anything like that. And the 380 is absolutely deadly when it comes to humans. The 380 is more than enough. A lot of people have a policy of not being anything less than a 9mm. Guys, that is nonsense. I've looked into the ballistics. I've studied this greatly. All you have to do is look at cases in point of people that have used it in self-defense situations. It's not about caliber, guys. It's about shot placement. There are people who have survived and stayed on their feet after 5 shots from a 45, which is almost unimaginable. There's people who have survived 357 Magnum shots, and there's people who have dropped with 1 shot from a 22. It's all about where you hit. Does it hit the spinal cord? Does it hit the pelvis? Does it hit the heart, lungs, vital organs that make people drop? It's all about shot placement. So yes, the 380 is absolutely a capable caliber, and when it comes to LCP Max, you got 10+1 rounds. I recommend 10 rounds with the LCP Max. Just, it seems to be more reliable that way, but 10 rounds should be enough. For self-defense. Excellent question. Let's see here. Oh, good. Let me see if I can put this on the screen. Let's see here. Someone said there's 0 lag. It's another super chat. I'll read that in a second. Yo, I mentioned a correspondence with John Anthony West about the pyramids being immortality machines. See Q8 at Graham Hancock's site. Interview with John Anthony West. Think sensory plus plugging into the ley lines via the sarcophagus. Brother, I can't wait to look into that because we were talking about that last week. Excellent comment. Yeah, see, 0 lag, audio perfect. Excellent. See that, guys? It's just catching up. All right. What other questions we got here? Then I'm gonna in a moment, I'm gonna go through. In fact, maybe I'll just do it right now. A couple videos that I've made recently involving the Great Pyramid Void not being excavated, as well as Göbekli Tepe, and I'm going to do this off the fly. I'm not going to proofread anything else, and I'm going to, see what shows up. So I'll just share the screen. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do real quick, just because I want to knock it out. While people are filtering in here, let me do one more ad read just to get it out of the way, guys. And I'll have one more later, but I don't want to, hog up too much of your time doing this. But I know that people are still filtering in, so it's a great time to do it. All right, here. 1 second. All right, guys, you need to check out 1775 coffee. Let's be real. Most Cape Cup pods are full of moldy, pesticide-laden garbage. Corporate chains like Dunkin' are serving up stale coffee with a side of toxic sludge, and they expect you to thank them. But 1775 coffee isn't about corporate soy boy nonsense. But that's where Rumble's 1775 steps in and smacks the crap out of the competition. We're here to power up your morning with real coffee. Check this stuff out, guys. This stuff is delicious. It's literally the best selling or smelling coffee I've ever had, and it tastes delicious. Their new K-Cup pods pack single-origin, high-altitude beans, handpicked for real flavor. No filters, no mold. Whether you're into medium roast, dark roast, or mushroom blend to boost your brain while you laugh at Big Tech 1775, got you covered. You don't have to sacrifice quality just because you want convenience. Go to 1775coffee.com/brightinsight, grab your 24-pack, and show corporate coffee who's boss. Promo code BRIGHTINSIGHT. Again, guys, this coffee is delicious, and they are huge supporters of the First Amendment. They support me to say whatever it is I want related to anything. Guys, they are the real deal, and this is why you should support them. And again, it's delicious. Thank you all for your time. The link is in the description down below. So, yeah, someone says, damn, this guy has more ads than MSNBC. Guys, I got to make a living. It is what it is. And these guys, these are good brands. Like, I'm not going to push some garbage brand that, you know, is freaking full of woke agenda and everything else. It is what it is. And hey, they support me. And honestly, guys, this is good stuff. So I love you for your time. Guillermo Sanchez says, what do you think about the Knights Templar and the Freemasons? Not highly. When it comes to secret societies, I don't like secrets. And I understand the historical context that, you know, hundreds of years ago, people had to meet in secrecy. Even the founding fathers and the people that fought in the American Revolutionary War had to meet in secrecy. And there was a period of time where certain information was prohibited and get you literally killed, executed. However, it is 2024 and the world is as upside down as ever. And if there's some sort of secret knowledge in the context of our history, our ancient history, the world needs to know about it. And there are other high-level Freemasons that have told people in confidence that there are things that they cannot share with the general public. And I despise that. I don't like secrets. I think now more than ever, people need to hear the truth. So I don't think, look, man, anything that's done in secrecy is not on the up and up. However, I'm not saying that every Freemason or Knights of the Templar are some bad people. There's good people in there, and I know this. So I'm not talking trash about anyone in particular, because I know people will run away with that and think of notable Freemasons we've heard of and think that I'm talking about them, but it's just not the truth. But nah, man, like, secret societies can go to hell. I'm not into that shit at all. And especially knowing that they are withholding information from the masses, not into it. But, you know, hey, I know there's plenty of people that are really into it and think that it's all benign. So I'm not into their club, so what do I know? Scottish Prepper. Hi all, appreciate a shout out to a small channel. Right on. Thank you for the 2, is that euros or pounds? Let's see here. What else we got? So I'm gonna move over and start reading some of these comments. Let's see here. Let's see. Blurry cam. Yeah, again, hey guys, I don't know what's going on. It's super high on my end. I have it on the max setting like I've done before. Last week's was a little blurry because I didn't have the Ethernet cord plugged into my 2G router. It's plugged in now. It should be great, but other people are saying it's better now. So forgive. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Someone says, let me read this one. This is a good one. I almost missed it. 1 second. Oh, I got a couple I'm missing here. This one's important. The 22 Winchester Magnum revolver is it whatever you call it, 22 Magnum is also good for pocket carry. That's one of mine that I carry. For example, right here on my desk, this is a 7-shot Smith & Wesson 351 PD. 7 shots of 22 Magnum. Guys, 22 Magnum is no joke, even through a snub nose. Just get rounds that are meant for short barrels, and it's documented. There are people that have dropped from 1 shot of it. It is all about shot placement. Let's see here. I missed another one. Got Kristen. She said, what are your thoughts about FEMA commandeering, or as you said, the supplies collected by civilians for the survivors Hurricane Helene in Tennessee and North Carolina? Guys, there's something messed up going on. This doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, the whole media is, you know, they're all in on sending money and aid everywhere else, and it's like they're trying to snub the dire state that's happening in these states right now and the people. And now you have all these civilians with private helicopters that are flying in supplies. Guys, what is going on? This is something to look at. At first I start hearing this stuff, I'm like, okay, they're just government and they're a day behind. But I'm like, this is still a problem today? This many days into it? This is something deeply concerning. Thank you, Kristen, for bringing this up. This is an important topic, guys. Who's running the show? the people that are supposed to be looking after us aren't. And that's another reason why you should check out the wellness company. Because like guys, if shit hits the fan, you want to have antibiotics on hand, and that's what those kits come with. So the link is in the description. All right, here, let's see what else we got. And I want to start reading comments on these videos like I told you I was gonna. I've just been waiting for more people to filter in. Rumble said they were going to promote this video, and it looks like it's not showing up on their home screen like it normally would. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Either way, the show must go on. Hey, guys, I'm telling you, it's something else. It's showing crystal clear quality on my end, and I've used this a bunch of times, so I don't know what is going on. Let's see here. Let me try this. Let's see what happens with this. Switching over to Wi-Fi. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't just knock off the stupid thing. All right, shows I'm connected and secure. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, this is something else to talk about. The X-Class solar flare. That should be arriving later tonight. Am I wrong? There could be some more northern lights. We'll see. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I highly recommend you follow Ben Davison from Suspicious Observers. He keeps up on this big time. All right, let's do this. Guys, I do not watch porn, and neither should you. It poisons your mind. You're literally getting off to pixels. It's scrambling the brain. Don't do it. I don't look at porn. I was never huge into porn, but admittedly would look at it. Everyone does. But now there's this growing, emergence of people like not doing it, and I highly recommend you guys do too. But I know you're being funny, but it's worth saying. Yep, there we go. Stream is perfect. Great show, Jimmy. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's go to... Let me add this to my screen. 1 second. All right. Hold on. I'm going to bring up some funny comments on my video. All right. All right, guys, here we go. 1 second. Let me make sure this is showing. Okay. So my prior video I made a week ago where I talked about the Great Pyramid and the void inside of it. Let's look at the various comments. Someone said, I once asked a good friend who studied archaeology what he thought about archaeology as a science, and his immediate reaction was, it's not science, it's politics. Guys, there's a lot of people in the realm that don't think too highly of archaeologists. Now, I have nothing personal against archaeologists. There's a few bad ones out there that have a lot of notoriety, but like a lot of people in the field of science don't take them serious. All right, so someone else said, make no mistake, today's Egyptians are not the Egyptians from 5,000 years ago, not even close. I agree with you. And if nothing else, even if that's not the case, our understanding of whatever the Egyptians were supposed to be, 5,000 years ago, based on what we were taught in school, is obviously so far from the truth. I identify that I think that they were far older, but hey, anything's possible. What I can say is that the Egyptians on the most notable temples and structures that are like 3,000 years old, we have to keep in mind that that's 1,500 years after the construction. Myself, let me look and keep up on to see what, I haven't missed anything. What do you think of Taposiris Magna? I don't know what that is. Let me Google it real quick. We're going to find answers. Okay. Oh, it's in Egypt. Hold on a second here. Okay. I didn't visit this site. Let me bring it up on screen for you guys to see it. Well, I'm just going to move on. This is obviously far more recent. 270 BC, so it's 2,000 years old. Brother, I love the super chat and I appreciate you asking. I just don't have any information on this time, and I don't want to do the deep dive on it on the live stream, so forgive me. But I'm very grateful for the question in the super chat. Let's see here. We have another one. Mark Adam, what are your thoughts on geopolymer being used to make some of the ancient structures? Love your work. Okay. I think the best example of geopolymer would be found in Bolivia at Pumapunku. It's not 100% fact. It just appears to be that way. What I will say is that when it comes to various granite statues of Egypt, those are not geopolymer. When it comes to the the pyramids of Giza, guys, those stones are not geopolymer. And here's how you know. First of all, if it was a geopolymer, they would mass produce various size blocks, right? And it could be various different sizes, but there'd be many of them. What's unique about the Great Pyramid, or the pyramids of Giza, is that all the blocks are of varying sizes, which indicates that they were one-offs, which makes it even more impressive. But you can actually see saw marks on some of the stone blocks around the pyramids. So when it comes to the pyramids, and that's not your question, you're not mentioning anything about the pyramids, but when it comes to most ancient structures, I'm not seeing the geopolymer thing. However, hear me out. When I was in Peru, and whether it's in Cusco and Sacsayhuaman, the legends there is that they used a certain type of bird saliva to soften the stone. And to be honest, guys, when I was there looking between the stones and how smooth it was, honestly, I was expecting to see something that was like laser cut precision. That's not what I saw. Although it was laser cut precision, like quality, they did look smushed, like kind of like a marshmallow effect. I honestly think there's something to it. So I am open-minded to the geopolymers. I'm talking about in the context of the ancient Egyptians. Like, I put on blast the 1,000-ton Ramesseum statue, and a lot of people were coming after me like, it's geopolymer. Because I was saying, like, how did they move a 1,000-ton statue almost 200 miles? And people were like, they didn't. It's geopolymer, dumbass. And I'm like, that's not what it is. You can see saw cuts on it. And you can't, like, listen, I don't have all the answers, and I can admit that. However, show me one example of granite becoming a geopolymer, because it's not how it's made. So granite has quartz inside of it. The crystals, the clear crystals you can see in it if you look at it up close. Guys, that is formed through immense pressure. This is known. And you can study granite, the lower it is, like if you go to a granite quarry, the lower it is and the more pressure that's on it, the more weight, the crystals and the quartz change. Like, I was in Egypt and this was explained to me in depth, and you could see it with your own eyes. So it's very important to mention that. Let's see here. What else we got? And I'm going to go on to some other comments. Let's see here. There's so many on here. Forgive me, guys. All right. Guilty Spark says, going to Egypt for the first time in March. If the world is still here, it may not be. Taking the tour with Ben from Uncharted X. Any pointers? First of all, you're going to have a fantastic time. Ben runs great tours, and you're going to be with Yusuf Awiyan, which is the gentleman who taught me the same things I was just telling you about the quartz with inside granite. What I recommend is that you bring an excellent camera. However, I recommend doing it on your phone. I went there with a like 4K camera, like high megapixel, was it a Canon or a Sony? Whatever, I have a couple different cameras, so I'm forgetting what I brought. Regardless, I was getting just as good of shots with my iPhone 14 Pro, which I have right next to me. And it takes excellent ultra wide angle shots and in low light visibility. I would say, with that being said, bring a flashlight, a good flashlight, and extra batteries. Don't do some rechargeable one. Because most of the best shots you're gonna have that are inside are in dark places. But honestly, if you have a good phone camera, and assuming you have enough space on your phone for the memory card, that's all you need. I've traveled around the world taking some great freaking shots with my iPhone now. So, because if you lug around a lunky camera in the bag, it gets annoying because you're going to want to be carrying around water. You're going to be thirsty, so you're going to have a water bottle with you, and other little snacks or whatever else you want, and it becomes very cumbersome. So on my first trip to Egypt, I brought a camera bag and I was lugging it around everywhere, and it was kind of annoying, and I'm changing out camera lenses. It was a pain in the ass. And then I eventually just broke down and started using my iPhone for a lot of shots. And it made it really easy to upload on social media and other things. And, so, those are some of my pointers. But I would just say, arrive a day early, get some extra rest, because you're going to be tired from the jet lag. And you want to be in good, high energy when you get there. Someone says, Ancient Vacuum says, do you believe in a super foggy world that condensed on Egyptian heights at midnight? So I don't know what you're referring to. I haven't heard anything like this before. And I don't know exactly what you mean. So forgive me, I'm grateful for the $5 Canadian. I just don't have an answer for you. Guys, that's something that I am the type that if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. There are lots of people in this space that will babble on about something they don't know because they fear looking like somebody that doesn't have all the answers. Guys, I am a student of this subject. I have learned a lot, and I communicate it to the best of my ability, but if I don't know, and I'll tell you I don't know, and I hope that's something you guys like about me. Dude, that sucks. It's still low quality? Damn it. I don't know what the deal is, guys. I'm very sorry. It's nothing on my end, although maybe it is. Yeah, lag spike, haha. Marshmallow wasn't. Okay, let's see here. Great work, Go Navy. Thank you, Preston. Let's see here. Yes, I did. I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw it was Stephen Milo and Mini Minuteman Milo Rossi. I skipped around. I didn't watch the whole thing yet. I wanted to kind of get the vibe of where they were going with it to see if it was just a shit-talking session, and it wasn't. There's a few points I'd correct in it, but listen, I will say this. A lot of people make the argument against the Richat structure being Atlantis and totally remove the key point in the theory, which is that it was washed over by the ocean or some sort of incredible flood through the Sahara. Guys, the geology is there. Even Randall Carlson, who disagrees with the Richat structure being the long-lost location of Atlantis, he himself says that that site was bulldozed by a catastrophic force of fluvial erosion. And so any remnants, if the Richat structure, the Eye of the Sahara, was the long-lost location of the capital city of Atlantis, it was blown out to the ocean. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, that's convenient. You're saying it's the site. You can't find any evidence. Guys, it would explain why the long-lost location of Atlantis has never been found in the Atlantic Ocean, which a lot of people think that it was. The Atlantic Ocean is the most sonared and surveyed ocean floor on Earth, which is a fact, mostly because of the Cold War and searching for sunken Soviet ships and submarines and nuclear missiles and all that crap. So, yeah, it's not in the Atlantic. But can I really say that? I don't know. I just think that when you look at the Richat structure, in comparison to the capital city of Atlantis, I've said this 100 times, I'll say it one more. Atlantis was said to be an empire made up of 10 kingdoms. I'm focusing on the lost capital city, which was said to be made up of concentric circles, specifically 3 of water, 2 of land, which would match the Richat structure. Opening to the sea at the south, what the Richat structure clearly has. Mountains to the north, and at the Richat structure, the mountains to the north are massive, and it's called the Atlas Mountains. It was also said to have a river flowing from those mountains. Well, it turns out the Tamanrasset River flowed from the Atlas Mountains directly either through the Richat or directly north of it at the same exact period of time of Atlantis. I'm quoting scientific studies, by the way. Additionally, Atlantis was said to be made up of gold. The outer walls were said to be lined in it. And Mauritania has an abundance of gold. And prior to the discovery of gold in North America, a vast majority of all gold in Europe came from Mauritania. Not to mention the elephants and everything else, the red, black, and white color stones. Guys, it's very compelling. I'm not here to tell you with 100% certainty that that is exactly the location, but it is by far the most likely location and requires further study. And if people want to go looking for remnants of Atlantis, you're going to have to look on the ocean floor off the west coast of Northwest Africa. Drill it, LiDAR it, sonar it, drill some holes and stick some, equipment down to scan it. That would be the way to go about it. Let's see here. 1 second. Let me remove this. 1 second, guys. Let me go ahead and do my last sponsor of this video, a very important company. So, let's be honest. The government's track record on telling us the truth is about as reliable as a politician's promise. 38% of the U.S. population, that's over 117 million people, live within 50 miles of a nuclear plant. But don't worry, they say it's totally safe. Same thing they said about tobacco, asbestos, and lead paint, right? Well, they've got a long history of pretending that everything's fine, and meanwhile it isn't, and they've been quietly hoarding Radio Guard Ace since 2003. Did you know that? That's an interesting fact. Meanwhile, they've been quietly hoarding, why? Because when radiation hits, this stuff flushes the dangerous junk out of your system. Funny they're prepared, but we're left to trust the same people who thought lead-filled toys were a good idea. That's why 5G Free includes Radio Guard Ace in their radiation emergency kit, plus meds for nausea and radiation monitor so you know what's really going on, instead of waiting for the official report. Guys, this is backed by a lot of evidence. You should look into it. Go to 5gfree.com, use promo code BrightInsight to get 15% off. With millions near potential risks, why roll the dice when you can actually be prepared? Guys, for all my preppers out there, this is something you should have on hand. Again, go to 5gfree.com/brightinsight and use promo code brightinsight. The link is in the description down below. Those are all my ad reads today, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you'll check out these companies. Now, what I want to do now is go back over to one of my videos, and let's look at the Göbekli Tepe. The situation is far worse than I had thought, and I want to read some comments from there. 1 second. Okay, you guys remember this video? Let's look at some comments together. Let me just double check on my end that it is showing, and it is awesome. Let's do this. Okay. Someone said, call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but everything the WEF touches turns into a festering putrid sore. That's funny, but it's true. And look at that, 3.9 thousand likes. The next comment down below, quote, the past was erased, the erasure was forgotten, the lie became the truth. George Orwell, 4,000 likes. That's an epic comment. Someone says, the fact that they're attacking you means you hit a nerve, keep doing what you're doing. Yes, as the saying goes, you get the most flack when you're over the target. And guys, I'm onto something here. Never mind the WF conspiracy theory. That might not be based on reality. There might not be actually people in the WEF trying to stop excavations. However, it is very interesting that they have such an interest in ancient civilizations. For example, when I was talking on my prior video about the Great Pyramid Void, I found a 2017 article on the WEF website talking about that discovery. Guys, the WEF is not a media outlet. They don't just publish news all over. They selectively choose articles based on their interests. And then if you follow me on Twitter, I posted about it. And people, of course, making fun of me, like, oh, that doesn't mean a conspiracy. I'm like, no, it doesn't mean a conspiracy. But it is interesting that the WEF is posting an article about that Great Pyramid Void within it. I find that interesting. But let me go back to the comments on the video involving Göbekli Tepe. Someone said the WF is one of the greatest institutional threats to humanity. Guys, that is accurate. They're the ones that are leading the charge on the 15-minute cities. They're the ones leading the charge on wanting to get rid of gas-powered stoves and gas-powered vehicles. And if that was something necessary for the environment or the humanity as a whole, they wouldn't be doing everything in secret. They would be an open public discourse and discussion on how to fix the world's problems. What they want to do is cause a calamity and pull the rug underneath all of our feet and do so in a timely manner that is not cohesive for supply chain and everything else. It is not good. Let's see here. Someone said the WF should be tried for crimes against humanity. Someone else said, Graham Hancock once said that we're a species with amnesia. And by the way, he got that quote from Immanuel Volkanovsky, which he is credited, by the way. But he said, what he missed might be that it's been induced by people right here on our planet. Knowledge is power, and if the masses can be kept ignorant by those in power, they can keep that power. It's all about control and domination. If people realize that those in power are not our betters, they lose control. That's a really good comment. Someone else said, let's see, it said, I said in your last video regarding Göbekli Tepe, and I'll say it again, this is your most important work yet. You are seeking the truth, and that is the most honorable thing you can do. Don't stop, Jimmy. 426 likes. That's a good one. Thank you very much, and that's exactly why I'm all over this, guys. Like, my reshot structure theory, well, it's not my theory, and I've credited George S. Alexander and Atlas Rosen for the Visiting Atlantis documentary many times. But the theory was first developed by an Otto Muck back in the 50s. So I'm not pretending to own the theory, but I am very proud for bringing it worldwide attention. However, when it comes to the state of affairs involving archaeology, like whether it's Göbekli Tepe, and let me real quick just remove this screen so I can talk to you guys for a second. In fact, hold on. I'll try to make this quiet. Let me mute myself. Hold on. I saw a comment from my last live stream, someone yelling at me, like, Jimmy, every time you had a sip of water, we could hear it. And it reminded me of another video I saw of somebody doing the same thing, and I was so annoyed. It's so obnoxious hearing somebody swallow anything. So forgive me. But going back to the Göbekli Tepe situation, and that nice comment was saying that this is my most important work yet. Nobody was talking about the trees planted over the ancient ruins until I brought it to the attention. Nobody was talking about the fact that it's been all these years and it's still only at somewhere between 5 and 10% excavated. And guys, I know I have a part to play in this realm. I'm here to shake things up. I might not be the most knowledgeable in all of human history, although I know some things, but there's other people out there that I'm learning from and that I look up to. However, I have more of a business mindset when it comes to my education as well as my fraud investigation background. And I know how to go looking for stuff. And when I see, coming in this from outside the box as somebody that didn't study archaeology, and I see these issues involving excavations, I know something's wrong. It makes no sense. We have the means, money, and the motive to be excavating these sites, and they're pulling back the large-scale excavations? You know that makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense on Earth. Ugh. God, it pisses me off in such a fun way. It looks like I got to scroll down to some super chats here. In fact, let me just go over to Rumble real quick to see if I've missed anything over there, because it doesn't bring up their super chats on my end. It looks like we're good. Someone said, do you know that only humans have uvulas? You can call me stupid. I don't know what a uvula is. I'm Googling it right now. A large elongate sinkhole resulting in enlargement of linear group of sinkholes. So that's not the same thing. Are you talking about, in the mouth? Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to have to Google this. I don't actually know enough what you're speaking about, but I hope everyone in the chat will look at this and go looking for some information about it. How's the quality looking? It looks like it's got better on YouTube and better on Rumble, but it's still crap. Guys, I don't know what's going on. Bear with me. I'll figure it out. But on my end, it's showing it's perfect. I'm plugged in. Shouldn't be a problem. It's probably something on my end that I did everything like I always do. Show must go on. Rare Foods Market. What's your take on stone rollers instead of cedar rollers for moving monolithic blocks? Google this. Large stone sled rollers, and you're referring to in Japan. Forgive me for not mispronouncing it. There's no evidence. I haven't seen, well, hold on. You're saying something where there is evidence. So, okay. I'm talking about like in Egypt and Peru. The problem with a cylinder stone like that is it can break in half. It can crush. Even though granite can withstand tons of weight. Guys, I'd have to see it demonstrated. And the thing is that the Egyptians left us with nothing like that. We should have found some cylinders like that, right? Maybe. So let me look into that further. It's an interesting theory. It is worth mentioning that none of the archaeologists or anthropologists have ever suggested that as a plausible situation. Let's see here. Here we go. Love you all. Quit with the base stuff. Don't try to be trendy. Be you. I am being me, and I'm based. Guys, I keep it real. But respect to all and differing opinions. All right, let's see here. Let me scroll down and see what else we got. I'm missing hundreds of comments, so forgive me, guys. I love y'all. Thank you so much for the $2 MP call. Appreciate it. Jimmy, I love your post on X. Guys, if you're not following me on X.com, go follow me. If you're not on X.com, formerly known as Twitter, guys, you're missing out. It is the best place to find accurate information. You got to follow the right accounts. They are sharing things on there and information that you will never hear on the mainstream media. It is gold. And it's set up now where it's like small accounts. Guys, you can go viral with no followers. Just make an interesting post and it can get around. And yeah, I'm pretty aggressive on there in some ways. I'll fight back and forth with people if it's necessary. It's going to be a fun time. Let's see here. Let me keep scrolling, guys. I've missed a lot of comments, so bear with me. The Squid said, look into Piedmont Lithium. They have been trying to grab land in the Carolinas. Oh yeah, I've heard this. Affected by Helene, it explains the lack of help. 100% a land grab. Reminds me of the situation in Maui too, right? Whatever happened with Maui? They still haven't repaired that land and they're just keeping it off limits. People aren't allowed to go there. And it looks like some people in power are playing long game to snatch that up because it was extremely valuable land. And then I've heard about the lithium thing as well. So I'm looking into that. I'm not sold either way at this time. I need to see, but we're going to find out. The internet will not be stopped from figuring out if this is a land grab for lithium. And I wouldn't be surprised, because why aren't they doing stuff there? Why aren't they intervening? Same thing with the Maui people. The fires from 2 years ago. Same thing there. Dragon Truth says, Tingata Manu Bird, Göbekli Tepe, Easter Island. Yes, the similar feature that's found on the back of Moai statues and at Göbekli Tepe. Great comment. Let's see here. Jimmy, shave your head for charity. Will not. I should post pictures. I have my shaved head from basic training in a photo, as well as when I was in Iraq. I eventually set a trend. Midway through the deployment, I shaved it all off because it was hot out. And people kind of like made fun of me for like 5 minutes. Swear to God, the next day there was a dozen, maybe not a dozen, a handful of other people doing the same thing, and then it carried on from there. I should share some photos. I look much, much different. Let's see here, guys. Give me some more questions and comments. Let's see. Oh, okay. The uvula that was mentioned earlier, I thought that's what they were talking about, and I didn't want to say it and be wrong. I should have just said it. The thing in the back of your mouth hanging down. So humans are the only ones that have that? Do apes or gorillas or anything else have that? Huh. That's interesting. In fact, what is the purpose of it? What does it even do? Right? Like, what does it do? I'm sure there's an answer. Let's see here. Yeah, someone says the punching bag in the back of your mouth. Jimmy says, look around, Jimmy. Sites all over are being ignored, shut down, covered up, or lied about. Okay, guys, help me out. So I started looking into Göbekli Tepe. I had made videos on it back in 2017 when I was first starting my YouTube channel. And then I decided to backburn that topic for a few years because I'm like, they're still doing excavations. It's only 5% excavated. Let me wait for some developments to happen and find out some more answers, and I'll create a video then. And then just earlier this year, I start looking into it. I'm like, all right, it was at 5%. Let's take another look. And then I start finding quotes from articles that 5% had not changed. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I go down that rabbit hole. And I'm like, wow, not only is that number not changed, they're openly saying that they're literally drawing back from the large-scale excavations of the past to focus on conservation and going to defer large-scale excavations for future generations, with saying that it could be 150 years before the site is fully excavated. So I'm like, well, that's messed up. Let me look at Gunung Padang now. That's another very old, potentially 24 to 27,000 year old site. Potentially. Not definitively, but potentially. And then there's that subterranean chamber identified by a geologist that has said that there's strong indicators that it is man-made, not a lava tube. We don't know, but I'm like, wait, they went from saying that they were going to allocate unlimited resources and funding to excavate Gunung Padang 10 years ago, and something changed in the last few years where there is now no plan to do so? Huh. Then it brings me to the Great Pyramid. It's the same thing that led down that path. I'm like, okay, what about that Great Pyramid void? How many years ago was that now? And I'm like, wait, 2017? The study? Oh, wait, but it was discovered in 2016, 8 years ago? And they still haven't gone looking, and they still have no plan to do so? So the question for the audience is, what other ancient sites should I be taking a look at that are being ignored? So James Lanning, thank you so much for the excellent comment. Because in my head, I'm thinking, like, what other sites are there that are being ignored to this level? You know, I'm like, Petra is exposed. You know, Egypt, yeah, you got the Great Pyramid, and they keep discovering new things, but they are trying, there are excavations happening throughout Egypt. What other site comes to mind, guys? Help me out on this one. Leave a comment. Yeah, that's funny. Guys, again, apologies for the video feed. This was supposed to be a high-end, I am plugged into my 2G router. I have never had this problem before. Last week's was grainy because I didn't plug it in. It was just on Wi-Fi, which you're not supposed to do when you're doing a high-end streaming. I am plugged in. It is showing me. I've double-checked everything. This is weird. I don't know. Maybe it's some issue and other live streams are having the same issue right now, potentially. Let's see here. Someone said your bit rate might be too high for your up speed. Huh. I might need to look into that. I didn't do anything different, though. Anyways, show must go on, but to people who are just joining and wondering what the hell is going on with the speed of this live stream, again, I don't know what the deal is. And to be honest, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of people looking on Rumble. I don't know what's going on here. Haha, Google to see the stone rollers demonstrated, a large stone sled rollers, the Izuki Cho Akayama site. Okay. I'm going to check that out, brother. Thank you so much for the follow-up. I'm going to look into it because I was in Japan in March and there was stonework there that was fantastic. I will say, I can't say that it's more than a few hundred years old because I did see firsthand evidence that they used wedges to break it apart on some of the largest stones. I'm like, okay, doesn't have to be lost technology, but how did they move this stuff? I'm still researching it. I'm not willing to declare that it's super, super ancient at this time, but there was some stuff that was very weird. Thank you so much for the donation, GM. By the way, guys, if you're not following me on locals.com or Patreon, follow me on Locals. But you can support my work by following me on there, and I'm due to do my monthly live Q&A on Locals, exclusive to my Locals supporters. And to those who fund me, on Locals, get to ask questions. And what's interesting is that all you people leaving comments that aren't being seen, because I'm getting so many that I'm missing them. I can't read all of them. It's impossible. Good problem to have, but it sucks, right, when you have a good question or comment. But because the crowd on there, when I do my monthly live Q&As, is so small, every single comment and question gets answered, 100% of them. Someone said, hey, Jimmy, what do you think about the conflict in the Middle East in terms of how it affects archaeological excavations and existing archaeological sites? Excellent question. I did see some footage of the area of Baalbek being bombed by Israel. The site, of Baalbek, the ancient site, has not been damaged. It's a good question. Like, people have talked about, Turkey might be going to war with Israel at some point. How will this affect Göbekli Tepe? The good news, guys, is that like Göbekli Tepe and the underground cities like Debunking, they're remote. So they're extremely unlikely to be affected. However, I'm telling you right now, if any of those sites are bombed or missiled, that will 100% be intentional. That would not be an accident. So we gotta keep an eye on that stuff. Excellent question. Let's see here. I'm only gonna go for a few more minutes since this quality is so shit, but I'll do another one next week. Hey Jimmy, can you look into the Kara Hora shaft? Yes. In fact, let me just Google it right now to see what you're talking about. Oh, it's in Russia. Right on. Okay. Let me bring this up on screen so you guys can see it. 1 second. This will only take a half a second. Okay. Who built this? So I've never seen or heard of this before. Look at that. That is man-made, obviously. Let's see if I can find another picture. I've never heard of this in my life. What is that? That's a small photo. Assuming that's the same site. Yeah, Kara Hora Mountain. Brother, you just informed me of something I've never seen or heard of before. Let's look at this. How deep does it go? It looks like it's 36 meters, something there. I can't come to everything on this. Is this the outside going in? Strange manufactured caves found near Russian city. Are they ancient? I mean, it looks ancient, but is this something that could have been done in the Cold War? As a hideout? I don't know. Thank you so much for that excellent comment and teaching us all something new. Let's see here. It looks like I got a super chat. I'm scrolling down. Someone asked me about the Bosnian pyramid. Okay, hold on 1 second. What did the pyramids smell like inside? Well, most of them smell like bats. Not the Great Pyramid, but like the pyramid of Maidum stands out. It smells like bat shit. Literal bat dung. Because bats live in there. A lot of the other temples throughout Egypt smell like human urine. Because there's no bathrooms and people are pigs and piss in there and there's no ventilation. And it was so rank in when I was at the Temple of Hathor, it was so flagrant, the smell, it literally gave me goosebumps. It was terrible. In the Great Pyramid, which is the cleanest, it smells like sweat, man. It smells like it's humid in there, it's warm in there, because hundreds of people filtering in and out, and it smells muggy. It's not bad, but it ain't good. That's what it smells like, but hey, you need to travel there and go smell it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, experience it. All right, forgive me, I've missed a lot. How about the Bosnian pyramids? Are those fake, Jimmy? Okay. They're not pyramids. Forgive me, guys. I'm not saying they're not something ancient, but as far as being pyramids and the way that they were presented, does not appear to be the case. I know Graham Hancock went there personally, and his exact words were that he was not convinced. He said it very much with respect because there's people working the site, But the vibe I've gotten from others is that it's kind of a gimmick by the people trying to bring tourism. However, I'm not saying there's nothing ancient there either, okay? So I'm not debunking the Bosnian pyramids entirely, but if you want my honest thoughts, I think that it's a gimmick. Ugh. And I hate to say it, and if I'm wrong, I can go to hell. Someone said their super chat didn't show up, but this did. It's okay to be right. I don't know what happened. Let's see here. Prophet Bear, Jimmy, check out Ron White. He found Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat and the Ark of the Covenant. I know what you're talking about with Ron White. I need to look into his work more, but I am familiar with what you're talking about with the Noah's Ark and Mount Ararat. And the Ark of the Covenant, I haven't heard anything about that as far as his discovery. But that being said, let me keep going here. Thank you for the super chat. God, I've gotten a lot of comments. I love you guys. I'm scrolling, guys. I'm missing so many. So forgive me. Yeah, let's talk about this. The rear shot is in the Atlas region next to the Atlas Highlands. Atlantis means the name Atlas. The Atlantes tribe means Atlases. Atlantic also means Atlas. Sea can mean lake. Absolutely. And guys, this is a key detail that when you look at the ancient Greek description of the tale of Atlantis, because it was written in ancient Greek by Solon, who was, Plato's distant relative. And the word used to describe island was Nessos and Nesson, which has 5 different meanings, one of which is land within a continent surrounded by lakes, rivers, or streams. That would describe the Rishot structure if it was filled with water. So a lot of people say, no, it's an island, it's an island, it's an island. It's like, guys, you can look it up. Nessos and Nesson had 5 different meanings. Peninsula, promontory, island is one, but land within a continent surrounded by lakes, rivers, or springs is the other definition of that word. And that's an incredibly important detail. And again, look, a lot of people favor the Azores. That place needs to be studied. As I said, Atlantis was an empire made up of 10 kingdoms. So where are the other 9? If the Rishot structure was the lost capital city, where's the other 9? It's completely feasible it would be in the Atlantic Ocean. But I also will say this, and I mentioned in one of my prior videos on the topic. If the capital city was said to be busy all day and all night with people of languages spoken from all over in the marketplaces, and if Atlantis was said to be the far superior sea-traveling civilization where no one else was, then why would this site in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which is very inhospitable to get to in terms of seafaring, why would that be the hub in the middle of the Atlantic, right? It doesn't totally add up. But in the Western Sahara, it would. Because at the time of the Green Sahara, the scientific studies say that not only was there the huge network of lakes or rivers, as well as the largest freshwater lake ever to exist, but the studies have said that it would have been covered with human civilizations and for migration patterns. And there is evidence of this. Guys, the Sahara Desert is a lost ancient jackpot waiting for vast discoveries. Dragon Truth says, look into the mud flood. They are burying old world buildings. Look into the old World's Fair and all the fires, buildings that the horse and buggy helped build. That is a fascinating topic. I have not gone down the deep rabbit hole involving the mud flood, but I find it very interesting. There's other people on it that are far more capable of discussing than I have. And, I've been focused on many other topics, and this is a topic I will dive into. There are some bizarre things there. Like Tartaria was a real place. It's on maps. It was a vast civilization. We don't know much about it. So it almost seems like that was erased. So there could be something there. And I do identify with the pole shift involving continental crust displacement. Again, this is pseudoscience. It is indefinitive. Mainstream science, and I owe it to you to tell you what scientists will say, is that that's not possible. I don't think they know what they're talking about. One way or the other, they could be wrong and they don't know it. I think continental crust displacement would explain a lot of things. It would explain why Lake Titicaca was once at the ocean and is now 11,000 feet up. And even I know Randall Carlson had described the unusual nature of erosion or lack thereof involving the Peruvian Andes, that at the tops of it, it should be far more eroded based on how old they say that it is. And there's things that don't line up. And that would imply that the Andes was formed far quicker than what we had thought. And if continents were slamming against each other, that could cause mountain chains to grow rapidly, as well as cause flooding and movement of continental crust, i.e. a mud flood. So it's extremely interesting. Let's see. Man, there's so many comments. I love you guys. Volt said, Volt, new question. What is your latest progression or championing frontier, if you know what I mean? Guys, I'm digging into ancient China. There's some weird stuff there. To those of you who were on my live stream a few weeks ago, I was mind blown when I had Mike Collins from the Wandering Wolf on my show, who has been to the Great Wall of China into the remote areas. If you Google, I think I just spit on my keyboard, sorry. If you Google the Great Wall of China, you're only going to find the notable places that are the tourism traps. Guys, there's more than 13,000 miles of the Great Wall of China. Most of it is in such remote areas, there's like no photos of it. But all the areas of the most remote, so what I'm trying to say is this, the tourism places has all been restored. The other parts are far more ancient because they've been destructed. And what you don't realize is that they have all these ports for the arrow slits, and they're all facing inwards rather than outwards. So the Great Wall was said, we were taught, and is still being taught, that it was meant to keep people out. But the evidence shows it was to keep people in. So the arrow ports are all facing inwards. That's one thing. But number two, Mike Collins literally scaled the wall from the outside in easily. Whereas the outside, you can't scale the wall from the inside out. And I'm like, wait a second, say this again? You're telling me that there's vast areas of the Great Wall of China that you can get in from the outside in, but not the inside out? He's like, yes. And he sent me photos. And I'm like, and I saw it firsthand with photos of like, oh yeah, you could climb over that from the outside in. So like, this is the rabbit hole. When I look at the fact that the authorities within China aren't allowing all of their pyramids to be documented by the public, they're keeping people out. I have got some pushback on this. Some areas, people have said that some have claimed to be kept from the public are not. So this requires further investigation on my end to be like, okay, are there any pyramids where the public is not allowed to go document and visit? And it appears to be the answer is yes, but I'm trying to figure out which ones are and which ones aren't, because that's part of the investigation. But that is the rabbit hole that I've been going down. Hold on, I got a scratchy throat. Let me hit the mute button for just... Thank you. I don't want you guys to hear me gulping down anymore. Okay, 1 second. I want to go on to some more comments here. Let's see here. The Sahara was a jungle and the fruit of the world. Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Garden of Eden. Now, I'm not saying the land between the Tigris and the Euphrates in ancient Iraq wasn't the Garden of Eden. However, is it possible it was the Sahara? If the Egyptians were said to be colonists of Atlantis, because that's the big part of the story that a lot of people don't realize. You guys have heard me say that the tale of Atlantis comes from Egypt, because Solon had traveled to Egypt, the Temple of Sais in Neith, Egypt, or the Temple of Neith in Sais, Egypt, and they had written on the walls and communicated that they were the survivors of a cataclysm from, a destroyed civilization. Well, Egypt is in the Eastern Sahara, and you have 3,000 miles almost of land that goes west. That is now, of course, the Sahara Desert. But knowing that that was a green place at a point in time, it's not unreasonable to suggest that Atlantis was in the Sahara. Either way, it was a jungle and the fruit of the world. So people were there, and there's ancient mysteries waiting to be discovered there. Jimmy Densmore. Jimmy's a good name. Have you looked into ancient sites in North America much? Forgive me, guys. I've got a scratchy throat. Have you heard of Fort Mountain Stonewall in North Georgia? I have not. And the Moon-Eyed People? I have not. So this is something else that's on my list. For example, if you follow me on Instagram, I had done a horseback ride this morning in the South Mountain Phoenix Preserve of Phoenix, and I documented some 500-year-old Hohokam petroglyphs. So I want to really explore the American Southwest, areas in New Mexico and elsewhere. It's fascinating. And then also on my list, I want to go visit the Serpent Mounds, the mound people of the indigenous, throughout the heart of North America. So that's on my list as well. So thank you so much, Jimmy, for that comment. That is something that I want to explore, because it's like, I live here and I haven't gone looking for petroglyphs from the Native Americans. And I will say this, something else that's on my list is the Hohokam people. The Hohokam people disappeared like 800 years ago, between then and 500 years ago, long before the European settlers, they came in and conquered the continent. And there's something very interesting about the Hohokam people in that they had a vast canal system that is like 2 or 3 times larger than the canals of Venice, Italy. A lot of people don't realize that. They were sophisticated, and then they vanished inexplicably. Some people say it may have been climate change and weather systems and stuff like that, but I'm like, wait a second. The river, the Salt River that flowed from the north that went through, I haven't found any documentation that that had ever dried up. It still flows today. So I'm like, if it was climate change, as they try to say, they still had water. So I'm not convinced of that. Could it have been disease? Yes. I'm not saying they disappeared by aliens coming and snatching them up, but it is unknown. They were sophisticated, and there's a lot we don't know about them. And they were doing incredible things 800 years ago on the land that I'm on. Now, that being said, I have deep, heartfelt sorrow for what happened to the Native Americans in North America. Like, I live in Phoenix, which was covered with Native Americans hundreds of years ago. And it breaks my heart what happened to them. Like, my favorite movie is Dances with Wolves. If you haven't seen it, it's a must watch. And if it's been a while since you've seen it, you should watch it again. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie. As far as me horseback riding, like, I am an animal lover. And a lot of people like will shit on me for riding a horse. Guys, there are some horses that enjoy being ridden. And Benny, the horse that I rode today, was one of those horses. He was a happy creature. And we bonded and connected. And he enjoyed going for a spin in the mountains. And I had a really good time. But that's something I don't take lightly. Like, I don't, when it comes to animals, I have a big soft spot in me. Matchboxer said, please look into the 20,000-year-old diamond drilled tunnels in Austria. They are 2 videos here on YouTube. I can DM the evidence fits your narrative perfectly. Please send those to me. 20,000-year-old drilled tunnels in Austria. Hold on, guys. I am scratchy throat. One second. Okay, and make sure I mute my mic now because of the feedback I got on my prior stream. Hold on, let me double check on Rumble to make sure there's no... Okay, we got Do Vault on Rumble. New question, what is your... Oh, all right, so it did show up on StreamYard. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. In the past, my super chats on Rumble weren't showing up. And good, it looks like Rumble's promoting it. We got 1,200 people watching now. That's fantastic. How many people have we got watching on YouTube? Hold on 1 second. If I wasn't so... Okay. Oh, it's 1,200 there, and it's 600 on Rumble. Okay, never mind. It looks like the quality's improved, but it's still not great. Pfft. They screwed me big time on this one, guys. Hold on 1 second. Let me keep scrolling. Let's see here. I'm just going to go for a few more minutes because I'm super annoyed with the quality of this. Mike Lange said, Ron White was a very controversial figure, claimed to go to Egypt, but when his passport didn't confirm, claimed astral projection there, many claims. Good to know. But I'll look into it myself, I'll look into it, but I appreciate that. You got to be skeptical of people. If people lie, they're pretty much dead to me. It's like, don't lie. But I don't know this guy, so who knows? I'm not judging one way or the other. Let's see here. Frost, thank you for the super chat. There's a native person in Mexico who can melt the rocks and reuse them to make a pillar. There's a way to cut the rocks using plant solution. Guys, I need to see it. I want to see it. So if there's a video you can reference for us, I'd be grateful. Let's see here. I want to read some that aren't super chats. I don't want you guys to feel you have to give me money. I should also mention, if you become a channel member on YouTube, you can leave comments for free, which is what this person just did. As you see, it's a super chat without the payment. So if you give me $5 a month, you have access to that, and I'll read your comment. I love you. Wish you were mainstream so people would get a different perspective on archaeology. Academic archaeology and anthropology is watered down. Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, I had to go back to school and get a degree in anthropology or archaeology so I can increase my debunking level. Let's see here. The Sahara, lush vegetation, the ancient buildings are hundreds of thousands of feet beneath the sand, or hundreds of feet beneath the... Forgive me. See the old maps and all the rivers and all the numerous castles and mountains. It goes deep. Yeah. I made a video maybe a year and a half ago, or at least a year ago, involving maps of the Sahara Desert that are 500-year-old maps, and they show rivers in it. It's wild. And I'm like, they're trying to tell us that the Sahara turned from green to desert 5,000 years ago. Why are there so many maps? Even a 2,000-year-old map by Ptolemy shows a vast network of rivers in the Sahara. Why? How is that possible? So that's very interesting. And because I mentioned the Ptolemy map from 2,000 years ago, because a lot of the maps from 500 years ago, I've learned some of them are based on his work from 2,000 years ago. Fantastic comment. Let's see here. Thank you so much for the super chat, the Happy Plague Doctor. You should look into the geological history of the Nebraska sandhills, speaking of Dances with Wolves. Hell yeah. I would love to look into that, because it does look like it was flooded. Is that where you're going with this? And I always assumed it was related to the vast melting of the last ice age, with the Laurentide ice sheet that melted and completely altered the geology of North America. For example, the Great Plains, being so flat as they are, is believed to be because of the 2 miles of ice that once was above it and squished it. But if you look at the plains, like in the area you're talking about, the shots that were shown Dances with Wolves, which I believe was also shot in South Dakota as well, but it looks like vast water runoff had carved that landscape. I believe that's what you're referring to. It's fascinating. And Dances with Wolves shows you some great shots. Let's see here. What else we got? Let's see. All right. Here's a happy comment. Thank you, so football lover. Love your channel, bro. Thank you. See, that's another. All right, let's see here. 1 second. Hold on. I'm scrolling. Let's see. You'd never get that degree, Jimmy. You'd be debunking all the professors. Yeah, they'd flunk me out. I'd be asking too many questions. I wouldn't even have the patience to go back to school at this point. Having went back, look, I got a bachelor's, and then I went and got a master's of business. I got student loan debt now. I'm not going back. So when you guys come after me for reading all these ad reads, guys, I got student loan debt, and I'm going to pay that shit off. Yeah. Guys, again, if you missed my sponsors, look in the description. You got the Wellness Company, 1775 Coffee, and 5G Free. Look into these companies. They're good products. They support freedom of speech, and they support me, and they're good products. So again, link in the description down below. But let me go on here. Michael Ouellet, forgive me, Thoth in the Egyptian hieroglyphs is depicted as a green ibis bird. That is a major hint as to where the capital of Atlantis was or still is. The west is the old world past the Pillars of Hercules. What a great comment. You know, and there's still debate about the Pillars of Hercules. You know, we all, of course, think it's believed to be the Straits of Gibraltar. But there are others that have proposed that there was an entrance in Tunisia, which is now in the Mediterranean Ocean, and that the pillars that were referred to in the case of Atlantis aren't what we think. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just sharing with you, things I've read elsewhere. But considering that the Sahara was a much different landscape, it must be studied, it must be considered, and we must look at when they're talking about being in the West. That if you go west of Egypt, guys, you have almost at least 2,500 miles of landscape before you hit the Atlantic Ocean. And when that was green, come on now. Let me keep scrolling down here. I've missed a lot. What do you think melted stairs? Oh, this is a great question. Stairs at the Temple of Hathor in Egypt. Thoughts on the Anunnaki. Also, President Lincoln was referring to giants in his Niagara Falls speech. Thoughts. I got to revisit the Lincoln speech again with the giants. I've since forgotten, but I know what you're referring to. But let me focus on the melted stairs and I believe you meant the Temple of Hathor in Egypt. And I saw that Billy Carson had just shared this on social media the other day. So this is complicated. Having visited there, those stairs look melted. But upon some research, people say that it's related to the fact that it's sandstone and what has been caused by, I believe, the acidity within rainwater that has flowed through it over thousands of years. Other people have previously said that it's been melted or mushed down from all the thousands of footprints. No, that's not the case. It's a combination of two things. One, yes, there is, from millions of people that have walked through it, it has been eroded through that. But there's other parts of it that are totally melted. It is. However, that could be from acidity from rainflow that has gone through it. Maybe. I'm not 100% convinced either way. It is a very, very touchy subject because a lot of people think one way or the other on it. I'm simply sharing with you guys the possibilities. I ultimately don't know. Could it be acidity from rainwater? Sure. I don't know. Here's the thing, guys. If that was some sort of like plasma discharge from the sun, because people say like, oh no, this was something apocalyptic. Well, we're not seeing it on the outside of the temple though. We're not seeing it in other places, right? Like throughout Egypt, there'd be more evidence of it. But I will say this, Tanis, which is in the Nile Delta or northwest of the Nile Delta in Egypt, looks like it was scorched to death. And that was once the capital of ancient Egypt, believe it or not. And it's deserted. It looks like it was flooded. And all these massive stones and statues are all knocked over into oblivion. And so many of them on the outside of the granite looks like it was scorched. And I'm like, what did that? Could have been an air burst. Who knows? But excellent, excellent comment there. Let's see here. Let me look here. I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon, guys, because I'm just annoyed with the quality of this stuff. It's got better, I guess, you know, which is good. Yeah, it's still shit on Rumble. Damn. I don't know what happened, guys. I'll make sure I'll do a test stream ahead of time next time to see. Well, let's see, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you all for your time. I'm going to do another one next week, and I think it'll be far more engaging and far better quality, and I'll probably bring on a guest speaker to talk shit. But I want to thank you guys all for your time. I hope you have a wonderful Friday evening, and I apologize for whatever the quality issues were, but I love you all, and I'll see you guys again next week. Take care, everybody.